The project workout is very much aimed at project sponsors, project managers, and their teams. This is about doing one project at a time and doing it well. Let's have a look at what the contents of the book are. The first part is about the challenges we all face. The second looks at project life cycles. The third part, all the other stuff you need to know. And the fourth part, well, how can you make it for you in your organisation? Let's look at those in a bit more detail. So part one, problems and advice against those. How often do you run out of resources? Is there always enough money? Are the risks too high? How do you deal with problems? Who do you go to? Who's actually meant to be doing what? So here there's a shed load of advice from organisations that have been running projects successfully for years and how you can apply them in your organisation. But it also looks at projects in context. Are you working for a contractor? Are you doing projects for someone else? Or are you actually promoting it where the benefits and outcomes directly benefit your organisation? That difference matters. Your whole business case and context is vital. Is your project part of a programme? Is it part of a portfolio? Or is it just standalone within an organisation? Again, this matters because if you do not understand the context, you can't really manage your project successfully. In part two, we look at project life cycles. Project life cycles are probably the most underused and undervalued and most powerful way of managing risk on any project for any organisation. And by the way, they're nothing to do with waterfall. That's just a development method. Project life cycles mean you can take a step at a time towards your solution, find out what you need, increment, iterate by all means within those stages. And then eventually you can have the confidence to move forward and not just throw good money after bad. But more importantly, you have to know how to make these life cycles fit the context. Tailoring is vital. How many life cycle stages do we need? Do we need more because it's risky? Do we need less because it's simple? Again, part two tells you all about this. In part three, there's shed loads of topics to cover. What about your stakeholders? How does governance fit? Change control. If you don't know what your plan is, how do you know if you're late? Assurance. The project sponsor can't actually watch everything. So how do they know what's the setup to make sure that they don't need to watch everything? They can be confident things are going well. How do you manage your risks, your finance, your schedule? That's all there in the essentials with lots of workouts that you can go through. And part four, how do we make it work for you? You personally in your situation. How do you tailor? How do you learn? And what methods and processes could you use? And how would you assemble those? And actually, how do you manage upwards? How do you make sure them up there understand what you're trying to do and how you are trying to achieve it? Lots of appendices here, a glossary. If we don't understand what words mean, we can't communicate. So a glossary is essential. There's so many differently right ways of using the same words. I've included document outlines and descriptions of some of the common methods and standards that are out there, which you might find useful. Not everyone will, only those that are actually deciding how we're going to manage the project will find those useful. How do you run a good meeting? And how do you brainstorm? How many times do you go into an organisation they don't know how to do simple things like this? So I've popped those at the back just to remind us of good practice. So there we are, the project workout. This tells you how to run one project at a time. Its companion, the program and portfolio workout, tells you how to run shed loads of these, and I'll tell you about that in another video. Thank you.